Hi, welcome back to the Convo Couch. I'm Fiorella, and we're right here at the Berner in Costa Mesa with a panel of many great candidates. And I have with me Rachel Bruhnke from running for District 7 City Council. 70.
Assembly, California State Assembly.
Running for
Long
District
Beach,
7.
San Pedro, Catalina.
Great, great, great. And tell me, what got you into politics, into the Bernie movement or the Green
Yeah,
movement?
right. Okay, interesting you mentioned the Bernie movement. When Bernie Sanders first came along, of course, totally interested. Most of my background is in foreign policy, and so I like the fact that he was wanting to shut down the CIA back in the 1970s, and that when he and Hillary Clinton were debating one time, the name of Henry Kissinger came up, who is just really a devil in the mind of Latin America solidarity people, of which I'm one, for his role in the coup in Chile against Salvador Allende and the subsequent military dictatorship there for 17 years. And Hillary Clinton just had no qualms about saying that Henry Kissinger was a friend of hers and she looked to him for advice. And Bernie Sanders, God love him, he said, Henry Kissinger is no friend of mine. And I thought that was just so courageous and matter of fact. But however, at the beginning of the Bernie movement, I started a social media group that was called Berners Against Militarism. I just really felt that we need to have a very, very strong and unequivocal anti-war message, especially with a $700,000 military budget and all of our money, about 50% of our tax dollars going to fight foreign wars and pay for past wars and plan for future wars. And then we wonder why our cities are crumbling and why our kids aren't getting enough education and why we don't have health care and we can't pay for anything. And why we can't clean up the environment, why we can't transition from fossil fuels to renewable energies, energy efficiency. We can't do any of that because our hands are tied. All our money is wrapped up in the military. And so shame on the deciders of that policy. But what got me originally into politics, I'm 50 now, is back in 1978 was my first political act. And I made little signs that said, I was about 12 years old, and I made little signs that said, vote no on Proposition 13, save our schools. And so I vividly remember that, and then I took it around to my schools and pinned them up because my school was a voting area. And so ironically, here we are over 30 years later, and one of my primary platform positions is to amend Proposition 13. There is going to be a proposition on the ballot, and it's going to call for not the repeal of Proposition 13. Private property, homes is going to be exempt from this amendment. Farmland in California is going to be exempt. They will still maintain their 1976, 1978 property tax levels. However, large corporate entities, the Chevrons, Disneylands, large corporations that still pay because of Proposition 13, people don't know this, they pay 1978 property tax levels. None of us do, and yet the corporate class in this country does. And a couple of things is the problem with that. One, it creates total inequality, and it's no taxation plus tons of representation, right? Because they are the power in our lives. But if we undo that loophole, then what's going to happen is $11 billion will come into California's coffers. And what they're estimating is, I live in Los Angeles area, although my district is LA, my assembly district is San Pedro, Long Beach, Signal Hill, and Catalina, is that they say that'll bring $5 billion into LA Unified School District. So the 400,000 children who go to school in Los Angeles will get a windfall, and that's what they need. But the other negative of Proposition 13 and not having fairly taxed commercial property all these years is, if you think about it, California is over-commercialized. Too much of our land is used for shopping. Too much of our land is used for commerce. Too much of our land is used for non-stop consumption.
Which contributes to homelessness and gentrification, and we have a huge issue on that, don't we?
Yes, and I'm tying those together in what I call, through my years of Latin America solidarity, land reform. I mean, when we talk international issues, we talk land reform. Farmers need land to farm. People who live in cities need homes. We need a space in which to live and work from, and et cetera. And so definitely, when you've used so much of your land for commercial enterprises, then you have less land for housing, and the prices go up. So, and of course, the housing stock is commercialized also. So when you have so few people owning so much land, and it's only gotten worse over the years, then you have this huge problem. And one last thing, in terms of what we all really need to survive, since the 1970s, housing prices in the United States size in the United States has doubled. So not only do we have less land, more towards shopping and commercial, but our houses are so darn big, we can't fit as many in. So, a lot of this got to change, and that's why I'm glad to be part of this 2018 electoral movement. I think we're really making change. No matter what happens, we're making a lot of change.
Do you think that it matters what party you run under? Like, as long as your values are progressive?
Absolutely not. I just... what can I say? My grandfather, who was an FDR Democrat, got me into the Greens 25 years ago. So I've been a Green since 1992. I was on the first county council of Los Angeles, elected. I was about 22, 23 years old. And I never look back, because I look at the 10 key values and why would I go anywhere else? But especially the very, very strong anti-war component, and that's why I love Gail. That's why I love David. All these people we're just unequivocally against having $700 billion a year being spent training how to kill people around the world. So all my life, I've been told that this country is my enemy, this country is my enemy, this country, and it's all been a lie. I've been all throughout Latin America, and every single thing we've ever done there, militaristically, aggressively, hating on that hemisphere is super wrong. I've been going to Cuba for 20 years, and they're not the enemy. They're the darn model. So it's a wonderful country when you can be liberated to dream of another way. So yeah, definitely, you can be in any party as long as you're doing the right thing. That's freedom. That's America. Yeah.
That's great. Any other insights that you'd like to leave our audience with before we go?
Well, maybe not an insight, but an invitation. I hope this gets out soon. You can zoom in on this. So speaking of war and peace, I live in San Pedro on the LA Harbor. And a few years ago, they started what was called Fleet Week. And they started to militarize our harbor. They had brought in the USS Iowa, a big battleship from World War II. Fine, the battleship used to fight fascism, so we're all for that. But after fascism, it was recommissioned during Ronald Reagan. And it was used to threaten Central America and South America and the Caribbean during the Reagan era. So it has a dark history also. And they consistently have parties and festivities on that battleship. And during really profound days that Memorial Day should be. Memorial Day should be a day where we all sit and figure out how to stop making more memorials, how to stop making more dead people from war and more veterans, not promoting and glorifying violence. So what we've done is, while the USS Iowa is going to be having a big festivities on Memorial Day, we're having a peace event. So come on out. It's an open mic, spoken word, statements, candidates, personal statements, music, whatever. It's going to be Monday the 28th from 11 to 2 on the corner of 6th and Harbor Boulevard in San Pedro, and all are welcome. And check out our Facebook page, and our Facebook page is San Pedro Memorial Day Peace Event. Boom. Yeah, come on out and bring your picnic stuff too, and your signs. And if the mood strikes us, we're going to head on out to the USS Iowa too.
Great. Thank you so much. And I wish you the best of luck in your campaign. And I'll see you on stage.
All right. Pass.
Bye. Thank you.